Welcome learners to the next video. Now, as we had seen in the last video that how to install the Visual Studio Code, and we had successfully downloaded and installed it on a particular machine. So now it's time to do some configuration for Visual Studio Code so that it can work properly. Okay. Now the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure we actually execute and run Python code from Visual Studio Code so that it makes things a bit easier. Okay, so what we are going to do over here is we are going to go to the explorer section that is available here. Okay, and if you don't see, you can just make sure that you have the option of explorer being opened from the view menu. Okay, so if this is not open, you can open it from here. Okay, and once you are here, you can just basically go and type in there as let's create a new file, and I'm going to type here, let's say first.py, and that becomes my Python file. And it automatically asks us, okay, hey, do you want to install the recommended extension for Python? So we'll do yes. Okay, so we click on install and it automatically does it for us. Okay, so it will take us to the page under the extensions over here. Okay, and now we can actually see that it is installing the Python extension, which will just help us because it's basically allowing the code faster. Okay, it will just tell us when there's any errors, or it can provide us the Jupyter notebook formatting also if you want to create it. Okay, so I'll just provide the debugging as very real, so you can basically check out the options here if you want to run and debug your Python code. Okay, or you can also go ahead and use it inside the Jupyter notebooks. It totally depends on you. So that's it. We have done the installation part here. Okay, and now what I'll do is go back to my first.py. Okay, and I will just type in here a simple print command. Let's say I'm giving hello world as the print. Okay, so if I go ahead and I run this, you see it executes hello world for me. Now that's perfect, right? So we have installed Python, we have configured it, okay? And that is what we can see it once it is installing over here. We can actually also see the path of the Python exe that is appearing, okay? It's the path may be different at your end. In my end, it is showing me like this. Okay, and that is how we can see that because we have installed Python as of now, and that is how it is using the Python interpreter to execute my particular code. Okay, so we have installed Python earlier, we installed the Visual Studio Code and again configured Python into it, and we also tried to execute the first simple Python file here. Okay, so that is how we have done a very basic exercise of how to configure your Visual Studio Code to make it run all the Python codings. Okay, now now the other thing that we need to do over here is we need to add the extension for the Azure function. Okay, so we'll go to the extensions over here. Okay, and now we are in the extension tab. Okay, now here I will type, let's say, Azure function. Okay, and you can see this Azure function. It's an Azure Functions extension for Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'll click on this. I will click on install over here since I will need the Azure Functions also to be integrated in my Visual Studio Code. And now here you will need to sign into your Azure account. So I'm just going to pause the video for a while and I will sign into my Azure account, which I had shown you in the earlier videos how to create an Azure account over there. Okay, so give me a moment. I'll pause and I'll be back in a while. Hey, and I'm back here now. If you can, you have this Azure that is appearing. And as I had told you that my account is pay as you go, I can see all the available services over here. So that is how I have connected my Azure account to my Visual Studio Code. Okay. So I went into sign in. It asked me for sign in, which was in the browser. I entered my username and password here. And once I signed in, now here I can see that this icon appears and I can view all the available functions, everything inside this. So if I go here in the function app, this is the function that we had created on the Azure account, which is now available to view inside the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we have done the basic configuration that was required. Okay, so all the resources that are available in your Azure, after you have done the subscription and everything, you will be able to see those into the resources tab under Visual Studio Code here. Isn't this awesome? Now let's go ahead and see how can we run the Python and the pip command, after which the last part remains in the configuration, which is creating a Microsoft 365 account. Okay, so just see you in the next video. So stay tuned till then. Thank you so much.